Today we're going to make our writing stronger by revising a persuasive letter to follow a logical text structure. Just to remind you, logical just means that it makes sense. So we're going to be selecting a text structure that makes sense for our letter. First, we're going to start out with a quick little review about paragraphs. When we say paragraphs, what we really mean is a group of sentences that are all about one thing. So every time that you change time, person, topic, or place, you actually need to start a new paragraph. The way that you can remember these four things that signal the start of a new paragraph is to remember tip-top. A paragraph does not necessarily mean 5 sentences. You're not going to write sentence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, new paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, new paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, new paragraph. That's not what a paragraph is. A paragraph is not just, oh, I got to 5 sentences and I started a new one. Paragraph is every time that you change time, person, topic, or place. So some paragraphs might be more than 5 sentences, some might be less, and that's okay depending on when you actually change time, person, topic, or place. Second thing I'd like to review is just how the paragraph looks on the page. So if you have your entire piece of writing in one giant chunk, it's going to be very hard for your reader to understand what you're talking about. It's going to be very hard for them to process what you're saying. So you can do them a favor by breaking up your writing into separate paragraphs. The first part of this is to actually indent the beginning of your paragraph. That little space at the beginning of your paragraph signals to the reader, hey, we're talking about a new topic, get your mind ready to talk about something different. The way that you do this on a computer is by hitting the tab button. So hitting the tab button just one time is the perfect amount of space to signal to the reader, hey, this is a new paragraph. Okay, don't hit the space bar multiple times, just hit the tab button once. Should be about the width of your fingernail, your thumbnail. Now the next thing that we need to do is actually to break up our paragraphs every time that we change time, person, topic, or place, or tip-top. So you're going to read through your sentences and decide, are all of these things about the same topic? And if you realize, oh, I actually changed topic here, you're going to need to break your paragraph off right here. And the way that you would do that is by hitting the enter button. So you're going to click where you actually changed topics, and then you're going to press the button that says enter. Now if you've already hit the tab button, then it should indent the next paragraph for you. You should see this magical space there. Again, this is the perfect amount of space to tell your reader this is a new paragraph. If it doesn't tab for you for some reason, go ahead and hit the tab button once, just one time, not 3 times, one time. I should not see this giant space in between paragraphs. For some reason, a lot of people like to break up their paragraphs this way. This is not how you break it up in an essay. So in an essay, there's a very specific way for your paragraphs to look. This is how your paragraph should look with a tab and no extra spaces in between your paragraphs. So none of this. Now we're going to go ahead and start talking about text structure. Text structure is how the text is organized. When you're the writer, you have to make the decisions about how you want to organize your text or how you want to organize your paragraphs. So in your interactive nonfiction notebook, you have this resource here. And if you don't have it, you can pause the video so that you can reference it here. There are 5 main types of text structure: description, compare and contrast, order and sequence, problem and solution, cause and effect. As the writer, you need to think about, why are you writing? What is your purpose? What are you trying to communicate? What is your main idea? You're also going to think about which text structure makes the most sense for your writing. So let me use an example here. Let's pretend like I'm writing an email to my grandma and I'm trying to teach her about Pokemon. Well, I might need to ask, okay, why am I writing? Well, I'm trying to teach my grandma about Pokemon and I'm trying to show her about the different kinds of Pokemon and how they're all different and how they're kind of similar sometimes. Okay, so it sounds like I'm actually talking about compare and contrast, trying to show the similarities and differences between different types of Pokemon. So my writing would be organized by compare and contrast. It might look something like this. Every time I write, my first paragraph is going to be an introduction. And every time I write, my last paragraph is going to be a conclusion. So that doesn't really change. The only part that changes are these body paragraphs. So depending on your text structure, these body paragraphs might be slightly different. So if I'm trying to teach my grandma about the different kinds of Pokemon, I might talk about the similarities between Charmander and Charizard, and then maybe I'll talk about the differences between Charmander and Charizard. So again, I'm talking about two different things, and I'm using this text structure to organize my paragraphs here. Let's use another example. Let's pretend this time I'm still teaching my grandma about Pokemon, but instead of teaching her the different kinds, I actually want to teach her the history. Which one of these text structures would make the most sense for me? If you said order and sequence, you'd probably be right. This one provides the readers with chronological events, which means events in order that they happened. That would be exactly what a history is. So order and sequence would be a great type of text structure for my email to my grandma. My writing might look like this. Again, my first paragraph, always an introduction. My last paragraph, always a conclusion. The only parts that change are the body paragraphs. If I'm organizing my writing by order and sequence, then my body paragraphs might go like this. First event, second event. So maybe I first talk about how Pokemon was a Game Boy game, and then I talk about how it became a trading card game. Okay? So I'm changing up how I'm organizing my paragraphs based on the text structure that makes sense or is logical for my writing. A really easy way to do this when you're taking your first draft and you're reorganizing it into paragraphs is to copy and paste. So if you realize, oh, I wrote this sentence, but it actually belongs in the third paragraph and it's all the way up in the first paragraph, instead of deleting it and rewriting it, you should just copy it using Control-C and then move it to that next paragraph where you want it to go and paste it using Control-V. This will save you a lot of time. So now it's your turn. You're going to first select the text structure that makes the most sense for your writing. So think about, why are you writing? What text structure is going to make sense for you? Then you're going to reorganize your paragraphs to follow the text structure that you chose. So if you need to go back into this video to pause it and to see what buttons you should be pushing or what your paragraph should look like on the page or what text structure you should choose, you can go ahead and do that. That's why I made it a video. When you're done, flip your cup to red.